myself Ravi Shankar from Hyderabad. I'll be taking a little more time organizing if you permit me. Thank you. So, as per sir's permission, I just wanted to share about a case as per today's theme topic. Last year, there was a case. I think I haven't seen such a case, and I don't think I'll be seeing such a case ever in my life again. It's a case of ulcerative colitis. I was sitting in a clinic one day and I got a call in my mobile which was an unknown number. So I picked up the call. It was a call from the Central Cabinet, Government of India. A person asked me, I know him, I can't reveal the name. He asked me one thing whether you can treat ulcerative colitis. I said, how can I comment on that? Unless I see the patient, I can't do anything. So then they said that there is a case who is suffering with this since long and a very high profile EIT case, and they contacted the top Ayurvedic doctors in the country. Being in the Central Cabinet, they have access to everyone literally. They contacted our Secretary of Ayush Ji and also the other South Indian, typical centers like Vaidyanathan, etc., whatever. And the answer they got everywhere is, we cannot stop English medicine, hum support karenge. That's what is the answer they got, which he was not satisfied with. Then he asked them to come down, let us see the case. And after 1 week, the patient has come to me. She's a female case. She was staying in US. She has come. Extremely complex case of ulcerative colitis. You must be knowing this fecal calprotectin, the golden standard diagnostic criteria. It was almost 1800, and she was on 8 grams of mesalamine a day, usually a dose which WHO also is contraindicating. And she was using around 40 grams of steroid a day. Looking at the prescription itself, I was shivering literally. I don't know whether I can deal with this, but only thanks to SBU that I have taken up the case initially. And when the medicines were being tapered initially, as you know, we need to stop the English medicine to understand the disease status, right? So as I went on tapering the medicine, then the actual disease started to appear. I couldn't sleep for 1 month, I can say. 40 to 45 times stools a day with blood. Severe pain abdomen, she was falling down, crying. That was the scenario of the patient. So they started the treatment, and I think hardly within 4 weeks itself we could manage the case initially in stage 1 treatment. But the question here is regarding the blood levels, like parameters which we usually check. I was seeking sir's guidance regarding the same. So the patient was clinically responding, but the fecal calprotectin level was not coming down. I was like in a dilemma. How come it is happening? The patient is responding well, no symptoms, but calprotectin is not coming down. Then sir said that Atisaro Samasena Vida Sama Nigamakaha. We are only concerned about our Ayurvedic diagnostic and prognostic tools. We are not concerned about the modern. They are just guiding documents for us. The primary science of Ayurveda itself which will guide us. So sir asked me to take the patient history in detail again. So when I was inquiring, I could identify that it was more of an Samadhisara status. And relevant changes were done. And the patient finished stage 1, stage 2 treatment, and she went back to US. This was in October. Anyone on Facebook can check the group. In October, first week I shared the case in the group. And coincidentally, yesterday night I happened to speak with the patient. Her calprotectin level is normal now. And since 6 months off the medicine completely and totally normal. And sir, I had a call with that sir. So he said that I even spoke about SDV with him. He said that the government आ जाएंगे तो कुछ करेंगे. They are in opposition currently. So maybe if something happens in the future for the betterment of SDV, something should happen. So this was one such case which a usual conventional practitioner of Ayurveda cannot even think of touching. I can say that you can't even touch that case. And one more thing, this is one aspect of the case. The same case has taught me something else also. Just like someone was asking, I think today or yesterday, what is the purpose of reading modern medicine, and what is the purpose of doing the investigations, and what is the purpose of having knowledge of modern medicine when we are practicing Ayurveda? This patient, she was taking a drug by name azathioprine. Azathioprine is an immunosuppressant. Along with the steroid and other drugs, she was taking this. And when the patient came to me, her hemoglobin level was 6 grams. And just surprisingly, the 3 gastroenterologists which she was consulting never warned her that azathioprine cannot be given to a person with TPMT deficiency. There's a test called as TPMT. Without doing that test, one cannot take azathioprine. Surprisingly, none of the gastroenterologists could advise her. It's because of the drug the patient was going into pancytopenia. So when I got the patient evaluated for that, she was deficient in that genetic this thing. She was deficient in TPMT by default, because of which the drug was causing pancytopenia. So this is one reason why we need to learn modern medicine as well. You should have complete command on modern medicine also to understand what is happening to your patient because of those drugs. It's not because you should practice the modern medicine. It is to have the knowledge of what that drugs are going to our patient. So students, you can learn both Ayurveda and modern medicine, but practice Ayurveda only. Modern medicine is just for a guiding document most of the times. Second thing regarding appendicitis, I want to say. You can see in the group that we have shared enough appendicitis cases which have been dealt with SBVA. One case is worth mentioning here. It was during COVID time. It was my junior. He had appendicitis and he was in the village. You know, it was lockdown completely, right? So no access to medicine or anything. We can't even move out of house. It was lockdown. Then what to do? He is suffering with pain. He is crying. So would you believe that the patient got cured within 2 days without any medicine? Do you think is it possible without even medicine? Is it possible? Anyone? Like even if it is SBV, you know, they give some medicine or something like that, right? It was lockdown, no medical shop. इधर क्या करेंगे वो केस में? SNS तो बोल सकते हैं पर medicine क्या रखेंगे? So what helped me is the principle in Charaka Sutra, Langana Brahmaniya, Tilakanya Takrana Madhvalinam Charukshana. So the principle as per SBV for appendicitis is Rukshana. When you don't have a medicine of Varanadi or something, you select anything which is doing Rukshana. So he stays in a village. I asked him to get Tilapinyaka. Tilapinyaka is sesame seeds which is left after removing oil, right? So that is Rukshana. He just went on taking that, he got cured of appendicitis completely without any medicine. So this is the importance of principles and practice. मैं ये बात इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि कई सारे लोग SBV आने के बाद ये पूछते हैं कि सर आप कौन से मेडिसिन इस्तेमाल करते हो, which is totally wrong. Medicine is not at all the point in SBV. It's all about the principles. It's all about how you understand in the clinical situation. अगर आपको principle पता है तो you can play with anything you have around you. तो medicine ना है तो भी चलेगा, but you must be knowing the principle. That's very important. So these two things I wanted to share with you, and for the junior especially, only one advice: be devoted to SBV because this will be a tough journey for sure. Tough in sense you need to invest a lot of time to learn. You must be dedicated and disciplined. And you should continue attending the CMAs. एक CMA attend कर दिए सब आएंगे ऐसा नहीं रहेगा. It has to be an addiction. For me, it's an addiction. SBV, I can say. It's a blind addiction for me. That's why I couldn't leave this, and I won't be leaving in the future also. SBV is like an addiction. Once you get the taste of it, you cannot leave it at any cost. So I hope all of you develop some good addiction of SBV and keep attending the CMAs continuously. And especially thanks to Anshul, Sangeeta and Dr. Archana for organizing the CMA Day. Thank you all.